tourists, Barra is ranked as high as any. Everyone who visits seems to have a good word. And it's not difficult to see why. Its beaches and sea views, its green rockiness, its traditional way of life have entranced generations of visitors. These were the delights in store for the Clan MacNeil members as they travelled from all over the world to converge on a single island on the western edge of Scotland. The last such occasion had been 10 years ago, and it wasn't long before friendships were being renewed at dances and ceilidhs. Barra has always been known as a musical island, and visitors were held spellbound by the skill of the performers.
So I wish you all the very best. The bus is leaving, so God bless, and we'll see you next time.
Don McKinnon, the Ferranthai, or chairman for the evening, epitomised the friendship that was kindled by the opening ceilidh. There, visitors recovered from the storm-tossed 6-hour boat journey from the Scottish mainland, which had brought them to Barra the evening before. There were cheers on Castle Bay Pier when the car ferry Lord of the Isles finally arrived with its MacNeil contingent, punching through the waves past Kisimul Castle, the historic centrepiece of clan heritage on Barra. The delight of the welcoming party, though, was as nothing compared to the relief of the passengers when they finally set eyes on land. Among those greeting the weary travellers was Ian Roderick MacNeil, chief of the clan, and Royce MacNeil, president of the Clan Association of America, key figures in the coming days. As for the visitors, they just wanted to put the voyage behind them, as Colleen MacNeil Martone from Hawaii made clear.
It was pretty bad. I am a nurse, so I mean, all the people were getting sick. There was a lot of people that were ill and very seriously ill, but we made it. We made it through it.
So what's the spirit like now that you're actually on Barra?
The spirit has just been wonderful all the way through. On this whole trip, we've been for a week and a half going through Scotland, and the spirits have been high, and everybody is just, where families are meeting families that they've never met before, that they find their families are related in some way or another, and it's just been amazing. The whole thing has been amazing.
How much have people been looking forward to this?
Oh, very much. We've been planning for a long time, and it's been in the works for 10 years, so they have a family reunion every 10 years, so this is our 10-year reunion now. So a lot of us are first time, some have been here before, but it's been very exciting.
By the following morning, spirits had revived, and anticipation was high for the start of the gathering itself.
I hereby declare the third Decennial Worldwide Gathering of Clan MacNeil to be open.
Hardy souls, these MacNeils. It wasn't long before they were back at sea as boatload upon boatload set sail for eagerly awaited tours of Kisimul Castle, celebrating its 60th year back in MacNeil possession after a 99-year gap in ownership. For some, like Andrew and Betsy MacNeil from Massachusetts, it wasn't their first trip, but this time it was much fuller.
Well, we'd done some investigation as far as, just the beginnings of our heritage, and we had have an uncle Bill MacNeil, William MacNeil, his wife Doris is over on this trip, and they'd put us in touch with the caretaker of the castle, and we were coming over on holiday, so we thought that this would probably be a good thing to do while we were in the Highlands, and actually it became the highlight of the holiday.
You had a very short time the last time you were over on Barra, about 12 hours. You must be seeing a lot more of the island this time.
Well, we didn't see much of the island the first time, probably about 4 or 5 miles from here to the hotel. Other than the castle, we were allowed to. We dropped off because it was high tide. He couldn't stay, so we left us out there. And we had the run of the place for a couple of hours, but this is much better as far as seeing the island itself. It's quite a beautiful spot.
So you're enjoying the visit this time round?
Oh yeah, very much so. Yeah, it's this is a lot different. We have a little bit more guidance. We were just doing things on our own before, and it was in September, so there were not many people around. So.
And the boys are enjoying them?
Yeah, very much. Yeah, of course, it's all completely new to them, so it's they don't know what to expect. But everything so far they've enjoyed.
They're appreciating the fact that this is Donald, and he sees the name Donald everywhere we go. And this is Ian, after Ian the Explorer, who was one of the original MacNeils from our family to come to the New World. So it's wonderful for all of us.
Excited children and excited adults too, and who could blame them as they looked forward to visiting the castle, one of Scotland's most famous, perched almost miraculously on its rock in the bay. It's a castle that owes a huge amount to the late Robert Lister MacNeil, the current chief's father and a professional architect and historian. He led a restoration project, thus fulfilling a lifelong ambition. Kisimul's darkest hours came in the 18th century, when it was abandoned and fire ripped through the once proud building. Visiting boats even took stones away for ballast. The ruined castle then witnessed the cruelty of the Highland clearances, with evictions and emigration, and the ancestors of some of the present-day visitors carving out a new life in the New World. In more recent times, it observed happier events, including the renaissance of the Gaelic language, which once rang round its walls in speech, song and poetry. Once suppressed, it is now valued and respected, and Barra remains one of its principal strongholds. For the castle's visitors then, such as Tynes and Dion MacNeil from Texas, their search for roots was a fascinating one.
Well, my wife and I have both been interested in genealogy, and she's done most of the work, and it just seemed like the thing to do. We enjoyed being part of the clan and wanted to have that association, and we thought we'd have a great trip to Scotland. We've never been here before, and it's a beautiful place.
How are you enjoying the castle? What's your impressions?
Well, I love it. I don't think I'd want to live here full time. But it really gives you a feel for how they lived, you know, back when we were all here before. But I think it would be hard to get here and it'd be cold in the wintertime.
What is it about roots, about genealogy that so interests you?
Just kind of how we got to where we are and you know, characteristics of different people. You know, you can kind of see a lot of it is carried on. I can see in my grandparents, great-grandparents, things that may have come from here over, you know. So
it's important.
Yes, it is. Very important.
We both feel that way. We both feel like the search back for roots has become more important to us the more we looked into it, the more we studied about it and talked about it and think about it. You know.
It's very interesting, very historical, and you find out all sorts of facts you never knew before when you were studying in school. It wasn't that interesting, maybe.
Others had come even further to follow in the footsteps of the past, halfway around the world in the case of a substantial contingent from New Zealand.
There's 14 of us who've come from all over the country, mainly from the North Island, but there's one also from the South Island.
And have most Scottish connections?
Yes, as far as I know. Most linked to the MacNeils, either directly or by marriage.
And can I ask you yourself, have you been to Barra before?
I haven't been to Barra, but I've been to Scotland before.
And when was that?
40 years ago.
Do you notice many changes?
Yes, conditions have improved greatly all over.
And what's your impressions of the castle here then?
Well, we have seen a lot of castles in Europe, but this one is unique, very unique. It's certainly different to what's in Europe. We got a bit sick of them. We couldn't get sick of this one. This is good, great.
And to be on Barra for the gathering, is there a special feel to it?
Oh yes, well there's a special feel in just getting to Barra. I never ever thought that we'd ever get here, but to be here when all the rest of the relations are here at the same time, that's something else.
And feelings were similar among another large delegation, this time from Canada, which included Margaret MacNeil from Toronto.
It's very exciting, and at moments it's emotional. It's been wonderful. There's been many places on this island of Barra that is very much like Prince Edward Island, where I think like my Canadian roots are. So when we were at the beach in Tangasdale, it's exactly like Cavendish Beach. So maybe that's why when we went across the ocean, we chose Prince Edward Island, because it's so much like here, just a little less windy.
What do you think of the castle?
Oh, I love it. I knew it looked small on the outside, but there's so many little nooks and crannies, and it's been exciting to climb up top and see the view and see everything inside and the courtyard down below.
What about meeting other people who have shared common strands of ancestry? Yeah. It must be fascinating.
It is. I think last night at the Ceilidh, the most interesting thing is I looked across the group of people there, and I saw a man. I thought my father was sitting across, because when you see someone from afar and you see the features and he was wearing a Clan MacNeil jacket, I thought it was my father there, and I realized, no, that's what my father looked like 10 years ago. So it was exciting. And then yesterday, I think the master of ceremonies was Don McKinnon. He looks exactly like my grandfather. And even my father thought he looked like his father. So that was really exciting, and to hear him tell some stories. So that was wonderful.
A lot of memories to take back.
A lot of new memories, yes. Yeah, and we hope to come back again. So I'll try to bring the rest of my family, drag them along next time we come, because I know they'll find this really exciting.
And Faye Bergstrom from Chicago found it exciting to see a plaque on the castle wall dedicated to one of her relations, Robert Lincoln MacNeil, a cousin, which she came upon by sheer chance.
I had no idea. I was very surprised to see it, but I knew that Cousin Bob was very involved with the Clan MacNeil and with the castle, so I'm not completely surprised.
And what do you think of the castle?
I grew up seeing pictures of the castle, and now it's pretty amazing to actually be here. You can see everything in every direction from this castle, and I can see why they strategically placed it here. Very, very interesting.
Host at Kisimul Castle was, of course, the clan chief, Ian Roderick MacNeil, who's a law professor at the Northwestern University in Chicago. He aims to return to Barra several times a year and was delighted to greet clan association members from all over the world. For him, it is a very special place.
Well, it means, I can't say everything. I suppose my family means everything to me, but Barra comes a pretty close second. I came here first when I was 9 years old, and you know, I mean, I enjoyed it, and it was interesting, but it was strange to me. Of course, I didn't have any Gaelic, and in those days, all the kids spoke Gaelic. And I went to school here a bit, and then I didn't come back until 1951, and for, you know, a fairly short stay, which I enjoyed. It was only after my father's death in 1970 that I came back regularly and watched everything that's happening here, and really trying to get involved in the community a lot. And I have tremendous respect for the people who live here and the conditions they have to put up with, especially with respect to weather in the wintertime. And so it means a lot to me in the sense that it's the one place where I really feel I'm part of a community more than anywhere else in the world, and that's hard to come by these days.
"17-year-old Chris Ann MacLeod from Yollagurry in Barra takes the applause for a Clarsach composition written by herself to welcome the overseas MacNeils. Few things sum up the growing links between the visitors and the islanders better than the Clarsach. It all started with the late Dr. Herbert MacNeil, a distinguished former clan member in whose honour this plaque was unveiled at Kisimul Castle during the gathering. The founder of the Scottish Harp Society of America, he had given money for a harp to be bought for the Barra youngsters. They meet under the expert eye of music tutor Margaret Somerville, who organises a special Clarsach concert for the visitors. Dr. Herbert's harp was to be only the first. Margaret and her Clarsach group also had reason to thank Vernon MacNeil, a harp maker from Oklahoma, who was so moved by the children's playing on a previous visit that he cashed in the dividends from an insurance policy, saying it would pay dividends for the youngsters' future if it was spent on harps. He was presented with a picture of Barra by the grateful harpists, and he had a further boost for the group. A harp he himself had made, which was presented to 16-year-old Mary Claire MacNeil from Northby in Barra. And the surprises did not stop there. Beautiful harp pendants were presented to all of the group by Hilliard Stone from Texas. Hilliard, an acknowledged harp-making expert, made the gifts himself and has made no fewer than 44 larger-size harps in his time. After that, it was just a matter of sitting back and enjoying the music. Apart from the music, the MacNeil visitors took part in the gathering for varying reasons. A sense of history, a quest for roots, a good holiday, but for some there was a special reason.
My name's Ken MacNeil from Edwardsburg, Michigan, and this is my wife, Carolyn MacNeil. She's from Edwardsburg, Michigan also now. We got married last October and decided that this would be our honeymoon. So we saved our money and here we are on Barra, which is a dream come true.
Is it a romantic place to have a honeymoon?
Yes.
We are so busy, it's hard to...
But it's beautiful here. It really is.
And Caroline, you've been before, of course.
Yes, I was here in 1987 for the first time, for that tour.
And do you think more people will be spurred to come back when you go back and tell them about the island?
Yes, definitely. People see the pictures and see how beautiful it is. And when we tell them how friendly the people have been and all the things to see and do here, many people will come.
And for Michael Murphy from California, there was a special mission.
My younger brother, Tim, he's a non-vet. He was injured. He couldn't make it. He wanted to come. So he called me home. He lives in Oklahoma. He said, would you pick me up a walking stick? I just figured I might as well walk it all over Scotland. So it's been everywhere. Glencoe, Culloden Battlefields, Robert Burns. That's where I bought it. It'll end up at Stirling Castle today through Oban, and then I'll send it to him. I've got a wee bit of the material from the island out here, so he can make his own island. We pour it out on the floor, and he can walk around his own island with a stick that's been there.
That's been everywhere in Scotland?
Everywhere I've been, everywhere.
A key figure in the whole reunion event was Royce MacNeil, the president of the Clan MacNeil Association of America, whose family history sums up the enduring links between Scotland and the States.
Well, my folks left Barra in the early 1730s. They went from here down to Kintyre, Gia. They stayed there a short while. I guess they were trying to accumulate enough to get to wherever they wanted to go. And they finally got a ship out of Campbelltown. This was around 1735. And Neil MacNeil left there with a group of approximately 40 people from the Hebrides and sailed into North Carolina, into Brunswick, North Carolina, up the Cape Fear River, and landed at a place called Cross Creek, which is near Fayetteville now. They stayed there a while, and then they went on up in, it was a very hot, humid area, and then they went on up in the mountains of North Carolina. But those are the links that I've been able to trace back, and last year the Lord Lion did allow me to have my own personal arms as a result of the work that we had done on the genealogy.
Now, you've obviously done an enormous amount of work tracing it back 250 years.
Well,
why did you wish to do it? Why did you want to trace it back as far as
well,
that?
because I really didn't think I could do it. I think I could even come back at all. But through about 18 years of persistence and searching, you know, a lot of people say, well, I know I came from Scotland. Well, where did you come from? And to me, it was just something that was worthwhile for my family and for our grandchildren.
Why?
Of course, there was a certain amount of egoism in it. You know, you wanted to say, gee, I came from wherever you came from. You know, there's egoism in it.
Why does it matter, though? Why do you think it matters in today's world to be able to know where you came from?
Well, I think it matters a lot because I sort of have the feeling that, you know, if you don't know where you come from, how are you going to know where you want to go? I think it matters that you've got a firm foundation. And if we have a problem in America today, it's because so many people don't have a link or have that foundation. I just think it's real important.
These are your historical links then, Royce. What does Barra mean for you today?
Well, today there's a little different meaning other than, you know, the historical link. It's a link with the love of the people. The people are really, they're a lot like North Carolina people. They're sincere, and what you see is what you get. You know, it's no facade type of thing. So I guess that's it. And also, there's just something about going back home, wherever home is or wherever you think home is.
And what about the clan association? You've been involved in it for almost 40 years now.
Well, a long time, and my wife at times, she's not a MacNeil, of course, but she says, you know, I don't know why I put up with all of this, but it's just the love of people and being able to serve others. I know that sounds, you say, oh, that sounds corny, but it really is. You just get a kick out of being able to help someone. If someone wants to know a little bit about Barra or your MacNeil history, you just get a kick out of sharing it with them and helping them find something that they're looking for. And everybody seems to be looking for something like that.
And the ones on the trip this time round, do you think they're finding it?
I think so. I think what they are doing, if they don't find it, they know where they can come back. And I think that's important because they say, you know, I want to come back and have a little different pace and do different things. So I think while they may not be finding it, they've at least got an anchor here now, and they'll come back.
And when they did come back, they certainly had fun, for instance, at a local sports day.
Ready? Go! Go, girls! Watch the wet net now. Come on! Come on, girls, come on, way to go!
Tracy Deaton from North Carolina and Tracy Baker from Florida collect their prizes at an event organised for visitors and locals alike. In that race anyway, we can certainly say that Tracy won.
Well done!
A similar event took place elsewhere on the island at the most westerly golf course in Britain. Many of the visitors were golfers, but few had seen anything like this. A testing 9-hole course where if you overshot, your ball could end up not only in the rough, but in the Atlantic. Local man Finlay MacDonald, one of the founder members of the course, explained how the event was organised.
Well, we knew the Clan MacNeil were coming here quite some time ago. They were here last year, 2 years ago, sorting out their accommodation, and we had a meeting with them. And I suggested that we could lay on a competition for them. And they were very amenable to that, and that's how it came about. So we've split the members up with the visitors to show them the layout of the course. And I'm playing with 3 MacNeils just now, one from Massachusetts and whatever, you see, and we're showing them around the course.
How are they doing then?
They're doing very well. They're very impressed with the scenery, but they're having good fun.
And the local members?
Yes, oh, absolutely. Very good turnout from the local members. It's nice to see so many lady visitors playing. We don't have very many lady visitors, very many lady members actually, but we have quite a lot of visitors here today, lady members.
And it must be nice, it's a nice link.
Oh yes, absolutely, yes. We'll meet together later on tonight and discuss the putts and the missed ones and what we did wrong, what we did right. But there'll be a few photographs taken up here today. They're enjoying themselves fine.
And the golfing differences were richly savoured by the visitors.
Oh, we love the course. It's interesting, it's challenging, got some nice holes on it, and we haven't got the ocean holes yet, but we're looking forward to them.
I'll tell you one thing we are really found different is the fences around the green.
Yes, that's always interesting.
I mean, we have to go over the fence to get on the green, which is kind of unusual. But it really is interesting.
Oh,
there's things on the fairway that we're not used to.
That's right.
And there's rocks and things like that we're really not used to. We're used to a manicured course.
Yes, that's right.
And this is really a challenge. It really is. But it's Scottish golf.
That's right.
I didn't expect anything
else. It's the game
else.
the way it was, the way it is, really. Yeah. We love it. Can't beat it.
Enjoy your round.
Thank you very much. Yes,
Thank you. See you later.
Tours were also made to Kisimul Barra, a tranquil and moving location at the north end of the island. Barra's most important ecclesiastical site, its name, Gaelic for Bar's Church, comes from Saint Bar, after whom the island is thought to be named. It's therefore central to the story of Barra, and its spirit of rest continues to revive the soul of many a wearied traveller. Clan Association members were also drawn to Barra's unique airport. And yes, the sign really does say keep off the beach when the windsock is flying. This is why. Planes land on the beach in Barra at Trai Vor, Gaelic for the big beach, a cockle strand stretching in a flat expanse on the island's northeast coast. It's a vital link for visitors and islanders alike, bringing in not only people but also commodities such as national newspapers to the island. And where planes land, of course, they also take off. Also taking off as the gathering progressed were genuine friendships between visitors and islanders, the product of painstaking work in advance of the event, as local committee member Jessie MacNeil explains.
Well, I would say work started on the visit about a year ago. Because of the amount of accommodation that was required, we found that the accommodation was booked up very, very quickly, and then discovered that over and above maybe 120 that were booked into the hotels and guest houses, we needed about another 130 beds. So a lot of effort went in, and we had a lot of people volunteering to come forward. So at least half of the visitors are staying in people's homes, many of whom have literally cleared out their homes to accommodate the guests.
And is that a big part of it, do you think, the fact that a lot of the visitors are actually staying with islanders?
The visitors are delighted that they're staying with islanders and getting to know island people and, you know, island families. I think this, for them, I think they'll find that quite an important part of their short stay.
And what else is going on the island to make sure, how else are islanders working to make sure that the visit is a memorable one?
Well, there is a huge team of volunteers carrying out various tasks. Apart from providing food and accommodation, we also have a very tight programme of ceilidhs and dances, and there are tours, archaeological tours, and there's a golf competition. So all these activities are being organised by volunteers and voluntary groups on the island.
So what's the feeling on the island over this weekend? What's the feeling?
I think people were a bit nervous beforehand, but I think now that all the preparations are complete and the visitors are here, I think the island's just sitting back and enjoying the visit.
And do you think genuine friendships, lasting friendships will be made?
I fully expect so, yes. I mean, already people are making contact, and people who were here 10 years ago are back asking after friends that they made and have kept in touch with for 10 years. So I think in many cases you'll see the start of a lot of communication reaching out worldwide. And the other thing now too is that there's also the Clan MacNeil and Barra are all on the internet. And we have some very interested people, people interested in internet who are here at the moment.
How appropriate, really, because there is an historical link being persevered with to this day.
I mean, the people who have come here have very strong links with the island. And one of the things they will be doing is trying to trace back where they came from and, you know, why their people left. The link through the internet is also very appropriate because on the island here we are trying to develop information technology and teleworking, and we could be making some very good contacts in that area just from people visiting here.
So there could be spin-offs from the island, for the island, which are yet unseen?
I would fully expect to see some interest in some form of development through information technology or some other skills. We've already dealt with one inquiry in that direction. Someone who would like to see some kind of small industry set up in the island. And you know, that if these things come to life and start creating more jobs and more employment on the island, then it's well worth having clan gatherings like this.
And at a banquet held in Castle Bay School, there was recognition of the amount of work Islanders had put into the event when Jessie MacNeil was presented with the Clan Association's Order of Merit. Guest speaker at the event, one of the biggest meals to be served on Barra for years and organised by the school's own catering service, was Donald F. MacDonald, now based in Edinburgh, but co-founder of the famous Grandfather Mountain Highland Games on the other side of the Atlantic. Another important occasion for visitors and islanders alike was a Sunday service at Our Lady Star of the Sea Church, which overlooks Castle Bay. The Immaculate Church, over a century old, provided the perfect setting for the service, which was specially laid on as part of the gathering itself. It was conducted by Father Donald Mackay, who told the congregation that when the only Mackay on Barra feels at home, he was sure that the MacNeils en masse, when visiting, must also feel at home too. And in such a building, in such a location, who would not? The service was held on the day of departure, when Clan Association members braced themselves for a return sailing to the Scottish mainland. Spirits by now, though, were riding high, and memories of the earlier voyage had receded. And the MacNeils, remember, with their famous clan galleys, were a seafaring clan, a trait which to this day, it seems, is still very much alive in some.
My name's Frank MacNeil, and I was born in Colorado, but I lived in California most of my life, worked for the University of California, bought a boat, called it the Isle of Barra, and now I've sailed it around the world, and I've spent 11 years going around the world.
11 years. Do you think this is the seafaring tradition of the MacNeils coming out here?
My brother and all the family were from the mountainous state of Colorado, and they said, Frank, where did you get those genes of going on the water? Because all the rest of us have the genes of staying in the mountains. I don't know where I got them.
But do you think if there was a MacNeil galley here today in Kisimul, you could take this out in the water, on the waters around the castle?
I'd give it a go.
I'm sure after 11 years around the globe, it would be pretty easy, maybe.
Well, maybe not that easy, but it would be fun, fun trying, yeah.
Are you enjoying your visit to Barra this time?
Oh, I've been running around and walking and seeing people. It's unbelievable the camaraderie that the MacNeil Association have.
And as a MacNeil sailor, you still live on your boat, don't you?
I live on my boat and probably will for the next few years until I get too old that I can't get on and off of it.
Never.
People were summing up the trip, including 88-year-old Hugh MacNeil, now on his 4th visit to Barra.
So what's been the high point of the trip, this trip?
Oh, this trip? The high point has simply been being here. Because I love Barra. It's a vacation spot. It's a place that you can enjoy life, relax, walk, hike, and such beautiful beaches, you know, to walk on, even though the water is just too blasted cold to even think about.
The water might have been cold, but the welcome was warm and the leave-taking emotional as the ferry neared Castle Bay on the day of departure. The sea was calm as pipers played a pierhead farewell before Barra's visitors embarked up the gangway for their voyage home. Down below, locals had turned out in force to bid the Clan Association members Bianach leave, blessings go with you. There were waves and there were kisses blown as the ferry pulled away. There was a feeling in the air that an event had taken place which people would remember and which would do all our hearts good. On a perfect island morning, there was joy at the gathering's success, but sadness that it all had to end. Both communities, visitors and islanders, had benefited in so many ways. Plans were already being laid for return visits and people were promising to keep in touch. In a poignant scene then, what were the high points that people would remember?
Just the people. The people were so wonderful to us and just felt at home.
A lot of memories to take back.
Yes, yes, very many.
It's always sad to leave Barra. It's my third time to go away, and every time I come back, I go through the same thing. It's like leaving home. It's a wonderful time to be in Barra.
Why is that? What makes it home?
It's a very strange feeling. It's almost like it's something that has gone on before me and generations before. The first time I came to Barra, I found that it was a lovely place, and when I left, I was thinking, well, it's all right to come back maybe sometime, but when I came back the second time, I was so excited. And I was excited this time, and leaving, it's very painful, but I'm looking forward to coming back again, and I know I will.
I'm rather touched. The send-off was just tremendous. I got a little teary-eyed, and it's a little sad to leave. I'm looking forward to getting home, but very sad to leave Barra.
Was it the people?
Yes. Yeah, the people were, I mean, they treated you like family almost. You could not ask for a nicer community. Basically just opened up their homes, opened up their arms, and took you in as family, and it was tremendous.
You'll be back?
10 years. 10 years, at the latest 10 years. Maybe make it a 5-year reunion. Bring some friends back for 5 years, but 10 years for sure. Would not miss it.
I feel like, you know, you hear Amazing Grace at some certain special occasions, and it's playing, and it's the last farewell, as the chords are pulling away from you, and you feel like you're being pulled away from something, and it's a happy and a sad occasion combined, a very emotional one.
I would say the Caileys. I found the Caileys really interesting with all of the bagpipes and the singing, and the Gaelic was great. And I think my favorite, though, was definitely the castle. I spent a lot of time out of the castle going through the various rooms, and I thought that was the best. It's just really fascinating.
I hate leaving it. It is a lovely place. I really do enjoy it. And I don't know what it is, but there's always something stirs me, and there's always tears shed when I arrive, and there's tears shed as I leave.
It is quite a link, obviously, that people feel with Barra.
Yes. I'm not sure whether we definitely come from Barra, but I always have a feeling as though I come home.
We only have these gatherings every 10 years because I don't want to cheapen them. I want them to be important, and by doing that, it becomes an event that is important for folks when they come back.
The production of this video was assisted by the Isle of Barra Hotel. The 30-bedroom hotel overlooks the white sandy beach of Halleman Bay, washed by the Atlantic Ocean. All rooms have ensuite facilities and most have a view of the bay itself. The hotel's dining room, which features local seafood, faces west and enjoys spectacular sunsets. On a Scottish Tourist Board grading, the hotel is 3 Crown and commended. The family-run Isle of Barra Hotel, a major local employer, looks forward to welcoming you.